So here's my mini mill. It's great, it's served me pretty well for years, but what I really want to do is add a foot pedal to it in order to turn it on and off, but simply by pressing on this pedal. Right now I got to turn the knob on and off, and switching parts in here frequently, it makes it kind of a pain having to turn this knob on and off. So what I'd like to do again is press the pedal to make it go. Alright, first place to attack is the box right here. Here's the pot, and this has the switch on there for the power. So what I'm wanting to do then is interrupt that, install a jack, and put the pedal in there. And if the jack is not plugged in other words my pedal's not plugged in, it should operate just as normal. However, when I plug that jack in, I want this to not turn on until I press the pedal. This will probably be a pretty easy job. Alright, so we already have a disconnect here that interrupts the switch on the back of this potentiometer, here. And so I drew up a quick little diagram because it's always easier to see a diagram. So I got the back of the potentiometer, which is the switch. I'm going to disconnect that from this wire, and I'm going to wire in this little circuit here, which has the jack, which I have in my hand here, a little jack. And I've put the wiring diagram on the bottom of the chart here, pin 1, 2, 3. I always get these, they're always a little bit hard to read which one is which, so that's why I made a little chart for it. So when the plug is not inserted, this contact is closed, and so this looks like a closed circuit and everything operates normally. When this plug is inserted, it opens this circuit, and now the power has to go down through my foot switch. And when the foot switch is pressed, it'll close the circuit and cause it to operate. And of course, this all assumes that this speed control is set in the on position and to some meaningful number. So here we go. So I've got the parts in here now, the jack and the cable going down to the foot switch, just hot wired into the box here. Had to turn the power on, and I've turned on the switch here, and the first time seems like it's working. So here's that foot switch. So when you press it, it's supposed to work. For some reason, it doesn't after the first time I press it. And I think what's happening is I'm getting a current inrush and the system's shutting down. So this may not be the best place to interrupt the power. Press it again, it doesn't work, or it just gets a burst. So what I think we need to do instead is reconnect this wire on the switch and interrupt the middle pin on the speed control instead and pull that to ground. The reason I didn't want to do that initially is that if you've got this thing cranked all the way up and then you pull it to ground to act like a brake, you could cause some problems there. Actually, we're not making a brake this time, so it might be a little bit easier. Alright, so I just found the connection inside the box here, P2, right up here. So I am going to tap into that and try installing my switch, and that way the switch will be in the back box here, so the wires will be a little bit more out of the way, which is nice. So I tried this circuit and it didn't work. The idea was supposed to be that the resistor and the capacitor would work together and slow down the ramp up and ramp down when you have the pedal jack installed. The problem is this capacitor holds charge, and when I turn the unit on, even with the speed it's set at 0, it would still drive, and so we don't want that. When the speed is 0, it should be 0. So instead I discovered all I have to do is interrupt P3, which is the wire that feeds current into this resistor here for the speed control. I don't even need this capacitor because it turns out there's a soft start circuit already on the PCB. So we don't even need that. All I have to do is insert our pedal up here and then keep this switch thing going here so that when the pedal's not inserted, it will behave as before. So it's extremely easy to install this now. Can't wait. I had a little bit of a breakthrough on this idea. When I tried hooking my other capacitor thing up, it didn't work because I guess the capacitor is bleeding charge through the contact, so that it would run even when I didn't have the pedal pressed. So then I got smart and I said, let me take it from P3, which is the 10-volt supply, and when I turn P3 on, then it'll energize the pot, send this feedback signal down P2. So now it turns out that this has an automatic soft start. So now when I connect P3, even though I've got the speed control on here, no hiccups or anything. Perfect. So this is exactly where I'm going to put my switch in. I don't need any resistors, don't need any capacitors. This is really great. Okay, so I just wired that jack straight into the P3 connector there, and if I unplug my foot switch, it turns on as normal. When I plug it in, it doesn't turn on until, there we go, baby. Alright, now we've got a foot-operated milling machine. So when I change parts in and out, all I have to do is let go of the foot switch and boom, it's off. By the way, I forgot to explain that I added an outlet to this box which is connected to the power switch. Therefore, when I turn on the first main power, I also get my little digital readouts to turn on at the same time, and it also gives me somewhere to plug in the power drive on my x-axis right down here. So now I've got all that plugged into the same main power switch. Okay, everything's buttoned up. Let's give it a test. Nice. This is awesome.